From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. Our first story of the night, it's a correction. In yesterday's newscast, we reported the names of the North Pole King and Queen as Jeff and Barbara Howe.
However, the actual name of the North Pole Queen is Brenda Howe. We apologize, Your Majesty, for the indiscretion.
In other news this evening, a Tok man was arraigned on charges of robbery and assault today in Fairbanks District Court for an alleged machete incident. Just before 3 p.m. Wednesday, Fairbanks Police Department and Alaska State Troopers responded to Pioneer Park for a report of a man threatening people with a machete. A witness told officers that she saw Rex DeFrance looking into vehicles and stated he did remove an item from one. She said she took pictures of DeFrance and was calling the police, and when he noticed, he walked toward her brandishing the machete. Another witness told officials that he approached DeFrance, who then ran into the park. Law enforcement began a search for DeFrance, who was located after kicking down a door and running through a residence.
The Department of Public Safety is releasing a new report on drug enforcement. News Center 11's Rhiannon Walker spoke with a representative to find out the details.
It's called the Drug Seizure Dashboard, a monthly report to show the progress of the Alaska State Troopers' drug enforcement efforts. Currently published are the statistics from March, April, and May. Jonathan Taylor is the Communications Director for the Department of Public Safety, and he explains why the agency has chosen to post these reports.
We think that there is both interest in the public about what we're doing and a public education component so that folks can kind of get a snapshot of what is being done behind the scenes to try and prevent drug abuse and illicit substance distribution across the state.
Taylor says the report will include seizures made in partnership with canine units as well. He says other resources available to the public are the statewide Public Safety Action Plan and the statewide Opioid Dashboard. For News Center 11, I'm Rhiannon Walker.
The report for June will be published around July 20th. To access the link, visit dps.alaska.gov/AST.
Marijuana tax revenue is at its highest, bringing in $1.2 million this past May. But the state is actually looking to lower marijuana taxes. The Department of Revenue is proposing to change tax rates for cannabis. Now, the current tax per ounce is $50 per any part of the bud and flower, and then $15 for the rest of the marijuana plant. The proposal would charge growers $50 an ounce for any part of the normal bud and flower, but immature or abnormal buds would be taxed at $25 an ounce. Under the proposal, the rest of the plant would remain at $15 an ounce. Marijuana growers pay taxes after they sell to a shop. Now, the Department of Revenue is accepting comments on the proposed regulation changes. Written comments must be submitted by 4 p.m. on Friday, August 10th.
In just a few short years, the Fairbanks North Star Bureau will see an influx of military personnel as the F-35s make their way to the interior. Eielson Air Force Base will be receiving 2 squadrons of F-35 fighter aircrafts by 2022. However, some airmen have already arrived. In anticipation of the increase, a regional growth plan has been created to help prepare for the new additions. The plan focuses on a variety of issues, including employment and health, but with an intense focus on housing and education. A major part of the new population will be children.
And Mike Schultz is here. Thank you for the weather yesterday. I know
Yes.
You don't take credit for it, but it was wonderful.
A little rain overnight, though.
Yeah.
About close to a quarter inch. We weren't
Yeah.
expecting quite that much, but it was nice. It cleared the air out, and now we get ready for the heat wave.
Nice.
I heard, how hot are we expecting?
Possibly in the low 80s. Take a look at this radar from this morning, though. It'll show you that's front moving through. First of all, this is this afternoon. There are still a few showers out there, but that's what it looked like this morning as it moved through. Pretty impressive, and it moved through really rapidly. But behind it, a high pressure ridge is building in. Temperatures are going to be in the low 80s, and maybe a chance of some showers by Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. But after that, again, temperatures will be very, very comfortable. So we are getting into a summertime pattern. I like it.
Wonderful.
I love
Wonderful.
it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, when we come back, the Boston Children's Museum selected Fairbanks as the new host for a traveling exhibit.
Also, we have an update on a Fairbanks resident who was the recipient of a volunteer work to renovate his home. Stay with us.
We have an update on a story we brought to you last month about a Fairbanks resident who is the recipient of volunteer work to renovate his home. But the project has hit a major delay, and News Center 11's Sarah Tewksbury is here to tell us why.
foundation that volunteers from Group International put in had to be torn out because it did not meet the city building inspector's standards.
Said it was atypical of what they usually approve in the city, so we pulled out what the previous team did, and we're having to jump through some hoops to try and get it right.
The faith-based organization brings mission trips to families in need.
This is our first project in downtown Fairbanks, and so we've hit a couple snags and we've got a couple obstacles to overcome, but with our teams, it's about the kids and the opportunity to serve.
Team leader Charles Fuller explains how they are fixing the foundation to meet the city's standards.
We had a foundation here that we had to kind of take out because of we ran into some issues with the permitting, but we've dug out, excavated the hole, and now we're filling it back in with a good subcompact of gravel so that we can pour a foundation.
The foundation the other group put in was not one of the 9 options for foundations that Fairbanks residents have, according to the city. So now they are working to fix it in order to allow the family to use that room.
We need to dot our I's and cross our T's a little better, but in the end, we want to do it the right way and get it done in a way that everybody's pleased. So we're going to learn from this experience over these last couple weeks.
Schofield says they are currently trying to coordinate for another group to finish putting the walls up and closing the room. For News Center 11, I'm Sarah Tewksbury.
Group International says they are committed to making sure the room gets closed in before winter.
The Boston Children's Museum selected Fairbanks as the new host for a traveling exhibit which follows a journey through contemporary China. The exhibit was up for grabs, and Brenda Riley, the executive director of the Fairbanks Children's Museum, decided to jump on the opportunity. It's a hands-on exhibit that takes up a large portion of the museum. The story follows 4 Chinese children through school and home life, the countryside, and an opera theater. Each station has an educational video with a tutorial and activity. They have a bus stop, a kitchen where kids can play food, and a rice farm. Organizers say it's a way for kids to travel through China without leaving Fairbanks.
I think for a lot of kids that are coming in, it's just so much new stuff. And for families that have come to the museum before, it's sort of like walking into a whole different museum. And they get to see how different life is in another country, but also how similar it is.
The exhibit is open until September 22nd. They're also hosting classes over the next few weeks on topics like how to use chopsticks, making paper lanterns, and Chinese language. You can visit the Fairbanks Children's Museum website for dates and times.
All right, coming up in sports, we have the updated standings for the Valdez Halibut Derby.
And the annual Mount Marathon saw several dramatic finishes down in Seward. Devin Fry will have those stories for you after the break.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking around. This is Devin Fry here with you for your latest in interior sports. Week 6 of the Valdez Halibut Derby is in the books, and we once again have a new face in the top overall standings. We'll start with the results from Week 6, which ran from June 24th to June 30th. Second place for the week belongs to North Pole's David Swigert. He secured the runner-up spot with a 129-pound halibut on June 30th, which he caught on the Lena Claire. The winning flatfish for the week was decided by less than a pound, as Tommy Early from Romeland, California, won the week with a 129.2-pounder. He caught his on the Blue Shoes on June 29th. He's the first non-Alaskan angler to win the weekly standings since the Derby began in May. In the top overall standings, Doug Craner from Valdez still holds the top spot with a 239-pounder he caught on the Redhead on June 23rd. The interior still holds the runner-up spot thanks to Fairbanks' Russell Young. Young caught a 226-pound halibut on the Dan O'Ryan on June 23rd. And the third spot was taken over very recently by Wasilla's Hunter Linden. Linden reeled in a 164.2-pounder on July 3rd on the Bold Eagle. The Halibut Derby runs until September 2nd, where the competitor with the heaviest fish will win the $10,000 cash grand prize. Second place will win $5,000, and third place will take home $1,500. The Silver Salmon Derby will begin on July 21st and also runs through September 2nd. The 2018 edition of Seward's Mount Marathon was just as action-packed as it is every year. This Independence Day tradition saw some familiar names take the crown, while some new winners also rose to the top. As we mentioned yesterday, West Valley runner and defending Gatorade Alaska Cross Country Runner of the Year, Kendall Kramer, won the girls division, finishing the course halfway up and down the mountain in 34 minutes and 5 seconds. The 16-year-old outpaced Anchorage's Aubrey LeClaire by 26 seconds. Katie Hauser from Palmer took third place in the girls division with a 35-minute, 13-second time. Chugiak's Michael Connolly won the boys division with a 26-minute, 56-second time, while Ali Papalon from Boulder, Colorado took second in 28 minutes and 40 seconds. Palmer runner Gavin Block rounded out the top three with a time of 29 minutes and 1 second. In the women's division of the race up and down the 3,022-foot mountain, Olympic skier Jessica Yeaton won the race in her first ever attempt, finishing in 51 minutes and 30 seconds. Denali Foldinger-Strabel took second place just 30 seconds later, while Christy Marvin rounded out the top three in 52 minutes and 4 seconds, missing out on the runner-up spot by only 4 seconds. And in the men's division, the 2016 champion reclaimed his spot at the top of the mountain. David Norris from Anchorage finished the race in 42 minutes and 13 seconds. He finished just 20 seconds in front of Max King from Bend, Oregon, which set the third and fourth fastest times in the storied history of this race. Another Anchorage runner, Adam Jensen, took third in 45 minutes and 41 seconds. For Norris, this is the second time running the event, and he's now a perfect 2 for 2.
It was motivating and really stressful. Yeah, it was awesome that he hung in there. I pushed really hard going into the cliff and made 10 minutes of really hard effort, and that's where the gap happened. But then he just hung on, and I was like, man, I can't give up an inch because I knew he'd be strong on the downhill.
Former Alaska Nanook hockey coach Dallas Ferguson has found his new home. Ferguson will be returning to college hockey this season as he'll be joining the University of Denver's staff. Ferguson will be an assistant coach for the Denver Pioneers, who won the NCAA Hockey Championship in 2017. Ferguson will be bringing 16 years of coaching experience to the Pioneers. He's had ties to Fairbanks ever since he played college hockey for the Nanooks in 1992. In his 4 years of college hockey, the defenseman finished with 104 points in 138 games. He got his coaching start here in Fairbanks as well, becoming an assistant for the Ice Dogs before joining the Alaska Nanooks coaching staff from 2004 to 2008. Ferguson was then named the Nanook head coach in 2008 and held that position until 2017 when he took the same job with the Calgary Hitmen, a WHL team. Ferguson left that job with the Hitmen earlier this month, but was able to find the next chapter in his coaching career soon after. Thank you so much for tuning into sports tonight. Don't go anywhere because Mike Schultz is going to have your full weather forecast up after the break. Hope you're having a great night. I'll see you soon.
Hey, it's time for our fishing report for Thursday night. As you can see here, the Matanuska Valley, no salmon fishing anywhere, but still good rainbow trout fishing. On the Kenai River, still a dreary forecast. Kenai River is open again with some good sockeye fishing, but king salmon is kind of low right now, but it's improving. And the Prince William Sound region, some Chinook salmon being caught with sockeye and chum entering the sound. And once again, a reminder that the Chitna is still closed. No kings allowed there. The same goes for the Clutina and the Golcana. Poor salmon fishing is being reported across the entire interior sections, unfortunately. Again, thanks to Willie Reiner and Frontier Outfitters for helping us with the fishing report. For the rest of the night, increasing clouds, 51 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast, lots of sunshine, near 80 degrees. And tomorrow night, clear skies once again, 56. And the 7-day outlook, warm on Saturday, 82 degrees. Not too bad on Sunday. And the next chance of showers will be maybe Sunday afternoon, but a better chance on next Thursday. Our photograph for tonight, our image optical photograph, a halo around the sun. In the lower 48, when you see one of these, it's usually the forebear of more rain coming in. But here in Alaska, because we're so far north, it really doesn't make any difference. As the sun's shining through the clouds, it's going to do whatever it wants to do because the weather patterns are definitely different here. As always, if you have a photograph to share, please send it to photos@ktvf11.com.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Yeah. In our last story this evening, a World War II veteran is going viral after firing the first pitch before a Memphis Redbirds ball game on Wednesday. Now, the Redbirds invited Frank Anderson to toss out the ceremonial pitch at the minor league baseball team's 4th of July celebration. Now, as you can see, he can still bring the heat even at 104 years old. The Redbirds are the AAA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals. They're also the 2017 Pacific Coast League champions.
Better than me.
Cool.
Did better than I could do.
Yeah,
I got a
can't
new
even
alarm.
do it.
It's
I might
bad.
as well throw left-handed. That works. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight in NBC Nightly News, facing mounting legal and ethics scandals, Environmental Protection Agency Chief Scott Pruitt resigned today. More of that and other news with Lester Holt coming up next.
Tomorrow we'll have the change of command that took place this evening at Eielson Air Force Base.
And from all of us here at the News Center, have a fantastic night.
Good night.